Well, the GTA housing market has remained mostly stagnant for most of 2025, but new numbers today from Royal LePage in a report find that home prices in the region will still see some downward pricing pressure into 2026 as well.
So this certainly is a buyer's market, especially for anyone looking for their first house. But for those selling, it means more days on the market, lower prices, and experts expect this trend to continue.
All right, so we finally have the January numbers from TRREB, and if you're a homeowner in the GTA, you might want to sit down for this one. For the first time in 5 years, the average home price in Toronto has officially dropped below $1 million. We're sitting at $973,000. Now, if you're trying to get into the market, that sounds like a win. But if you bought at the peak in 2022, you're likely looking at a six-figure hole in your equity. Today, I want to go beyond the headlines and look at the actual data, from the investor bleed to why the big banks think we haven't hit the bottom yet. Let's look at the WOW benchmark. This is the typical home price, and right now it's sitting at $936,100. That is down 8% just from last year. This isn't a dip anymore. It's the 8th month in a row that prices have slid. And if you look at the sales to new listings ratio, it's at 28.6%. In plain English, that is a deep, deep buyer's market. Usually, anything below 40% means buyers have all the power. Right now, at 28%, sellers are basically standing on their front porches begging people to come inside. But the real story, the one nobody wants to talk about, is the condo market. Urbanation and CIBC put out research showing that 81% of condo investors are now upside down. They're losing money every single month just to own that unit. Back in 2020, an investor might have made $60 a month in profit. Today, they are bleeding an average of $597 every month. Some are losing over $1,000. And here's the kicker. They can't sell because the prices have dropped so much they'd have to bring a check to the closing table. They're essentially trapped. So where's the floor? Well, Royal LePage is predicting another 4.5% drop by the end of this year. And TD Economics isn't exactly optimistic either. They're calling the recovery subdued at best. They're looking at a flat market for most of 2026, because even though interest rates are down to 2.25%, people are still spooked by the economy. There's one weird silver lining, depending on how you look at it. We're about to hit a supply cliff. In 2025, we had a record number of completions, over 31,000 units finished. But because developers can't make the math work anymore, construction starts have collapsed. By the time we get to 2028, we might see fewer than 10,000 new units a year. So, while the market feels like it's crashing now, we are essentially building the next housing shortage 3 years from today. If you're a first-time buyer, the temptation to jump in right now is huge. But when you see homes selling for 3% below asking and sitting on the market for 67 days, there is no reason to rush. The data tells us that the recalibration isn't over. Patience is literally paying you tens of thousands of dollars right now. What do you think? Is a sub-$1 million average enough to get you to sign a mortgage? Or are you waiting for the TD and Royal LePage bottom to actually hit? Let me know in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want to stay on top of these numbers as they break, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.